Hey guys, welcome back. It's Claytano. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. And as you guys can see behind me, there's a little bit of a different type of room, different view, Christmas tree, window, piano. So yes, I made my own separate room now, so it's going to be a little bit quieter for you guys, but I appreciate your patience while I was getting everything set back up on my new computer and everything else, so thank you so much for that. Now, to get into the video, of course you guys probably know my top arena defenses and why they work series. Of course, I'm never going to stop that. That's one of my most popular series, but I tried to make one called Top Arena Offenses and why they work, and it was just a little awkward to make because I didn't actually give any gameplay and I just showed the specific monsters that I thought, okay, this is what you guys should use and this is why, because it's one of the top used arena offenses in the game. So what I'm going to do instead is the top arena defenses and how to beat them. So the top arena defenses and how to beat them series is going to be more focused on the AO portion, and then top arena defenses and why they work is going to be more focused on the AD portion. So we'll get more in depth as far as like looking into their runes, seeing things like that. Okay, so to get into it, let's take a look at where we're at. So we have a couple different defenses on the list here. IG Benz is a G3 player. GG Foe, I believe, is finished G3. Dream Crusher. Papa Panda has finished G3. Zero Ultimate, really good player. And DFD Monk. So let's take a look at these guys. Now, as you can see, this is one of the most troll defenses in the game. Water Fairy King Zeros, Praha, and it doesn't matter, either Orion I think is a little bit better, but if you use the Bernard instead, you can pretty much outspeed the enemy team a little bit easier. So how do you beat this defense? Well, to be honest, I really don't know how to beat this defense myself 100% of the time without bruisering it. So bruisering it means that I bring like tank monsters and stuff like that to kind of, sustain and then rebound afterwards. So I would use people like Camilla, which is all the way in the back of the list. Possibly I would use somebody like Verad. There's not much defense breaking, so as long as I withstand that first round, we should be okay. I would probably say Chaesoon. And what else are we gonna use? We're gonna use a fire monster to kind of absorb all the damage. So this is probably what I would use against a team like this. I don't really need defense breaks. It's just gonna it's gonna win itself, and you can almost auto it at this point because there's little sustain with Praha, but you're still gonna have enough damage and enough sustain on your end to hopefully, win the fight. Now I just got completely reset, so it's gonna feel a little bit weird at the beginning, but let's see what we can come up with. So again, they're not doing too much damage on me after this first round. Of course, I knew that was going to happen where the Praha is going to heal eventually. This is probably the most squishy monster on their team, so we just let it go for a little bit. Well, that's the one that we want to focus first because it's the squishiest one. It's going to come back on us, but we should still be okay. Try to stun that. It ended up working, so that's always a good thing. And then this is down, and it's going to revive. Hopefully it doesn't kill us. Okay, it killed us. Whatever. Should still be okay. I'm gonna single target that and then go after the Zeros next, and we could pretty much auto it from here. So I really just gotta focus on that Zeros and we should be good to go. So this takes a little while longer. I'm not gonna lie, obviously it takes, a couple extra turns, but it's almost a certain win. So there's a lot of people out there that complain Water Fairy King's, too overpowered, etc., etc. And okay, yeah, it's really strong, but at the same time, if you don't have the right monsters with it, you could still lose pretty easily. Now this one's gonna take a while for me to actually get the win, but it's almost 100% win. That's what I'm saying. I wish there was a easier way to 100% speed clear it. The only real way that I would 100% speed clear it, or say that you could possibly 100% speed clear it, is if you were to, like, I don't even know. I would say if your Bernard was faster than them, but of course you'd have to have like a 33% speed leader to get past that. Then you'd have to have probably 2 Lucians that are super strong, so that way you can not only kill the Praha, but also not proc its Nemesis. Even with that 33% speed leader, it's going to give it more chance to proc that Nemesis. And then you have to be able to withstand a couple hits from that Water Fairy King, because it's going to hit you once on the AoE, it's going to hit you twice on the AoE again. And it's really tough. Almost, it's never going to be 100% if you do it that way. Also, if you do like a slow cleave, it's really not going to work that way either, because if the Praha removes your buffs, then the Zeros goes, the Water Fairy King goes, and they kill you. Okay, so if you're too squishy, you can't withstand that. You really got to hope that that Praha derps, and we don't want to rely on that Praha derping, especially in let's say Rush Hour, where you're trying to get fast wins and you want to be 100% wins, because you don't want to lose on AO when you're already getting mad hit on defense during Rush Hour. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. If you don't have Camilla in this situation, if you don't have like Juno or Virad didn't even get a hit off, so you can see that I kind of almost 3-manned it. But if you guys have that same type of composition where you have one kind of tanky bruiser like Camilla, it could be even Theomars would work. I know a lot of people use Theomars against these types of cons. You just gotta be careful that it doesn't get reset and then killed on the same turn. So you gotta have some sort of sustain back with it, some sort of protection. So it could be Chaesoon, it could be maybe even somebody like I don't know, Darien or something like that, something along those lines. Something to give it protection, more sustainability. That's what you're looking for. Okay. Zero Ultimate, same basic type of deal. This one's not as scary as the Water Fairy King, so it's okay. So what's the threat in this? What's the threat in this? So I really want to go over it. This is Zero Ultimate. It's probably one of the better players. We could talk a little bit about a different type of AD. So this is more of like a bruiser type AD. So let's talk about this one. This one you'll see quite a bit actually. So this is, you got your HP leader, you got a Perna, you have something like your Sekhmet and your healer. Now, when you look at this team, you're thinking, okay, I probably can't Lucian it. If you want, I could show you guys. I mean, you're not going to respond, but I'll show you guys. This is probably not going to end well with trying to Lucian it. Okay, now I'm attacking this knowing that it's probably not going to end well, but I'll give you guys a better way to do it. So, as you can see, only one will rune. If it had more will runes, I'd probably be more scared. However, the Ariel, I'm guessing, is going to be on double Nemesis will. Like, almost for certain. Increased attack bar, yeah, double Nemesis will, but it's not fast enough to be able to cut in between my Lucians, so that's always, you know, something you gotta watch out for when you're building your defense team. As you can see, I missed a crit over here on the Monkey King, unfortunately, which I don't know why that happened. My Lucians are almost 100% crit, and I got hit a couple times over here. But the Perna, the Perna hasn't even died once yet. I'm not sure. The last thing I saw, I don't think it died once, but now you can see the kind of the dilemma I'm in, especially when that goes and it stuns the correct person that's going to be killing them. Yeah, you can see this doesn't really go well. Even if I killed that Monkey King, I probably still wouldn't have won that fight just because the Perna and the Sekhmet are really going to be really tough to kill with your Lucian. But I'll show you guys my crit rate on my Lucians. It's just, I guess it's not good enough. It's at 98, 96, yeah, so it leaves too much room for error with 4% and 6% respectively. So let's take a look at a different way to kill it. You know, we got to figure out some way to kill it. So let's do what I like to call, this is an AO that I kind of made myself. Like I feel like I can take credit for the brewing of this AO. It's actually a really simple concept. Basically, it's for anybody that doesn't have Tiana, and it's a cleave Tiana-less. I call it the Tiana, no-Tiana speed cleave comp. No-Tiana speed cleave comp. Patent pending. Okay. So what happens is you have to have your monsters decently fast. Okay, so plus 102 speed. The Tosi is plus 90 speed, which goes right after. It's at 195, right? 195, and then my Zaros is 196. Galleon's just a little bit faster. If I can do the math, 187 plus 3, 4, 195, but he has a higher base speed, so with including my towers, he goes first. Okay. Now, how do I get them to make sure that they go before this other team? Well, my Bernard's gonna boost them up, and they're probably gonna go before the other team goes, and be able to nuke them down. No, sorry, excuse my dog playing with his cheat toy. But he's probably gonna be able to nuke them down enough. As long as everything goes good, I don't miss the defense break, we should be okay. Yep. And then I have pretty much maximum crit rate on these guys as well. Hopefully it doesn't miss crit, but that's really the only thing that's going to happen, is if I miss crit would be the reason that I lose, or if I happen to not reset Perna, but even then I could probably still pull it out. So let's see what happens. Hit Perna, and then my Tosi goes in between and finishes them off. So as you can see, pretty easy win, almost 100%, compared to trying to Lucian a team that you probably shouldn't be Lucianing. Now this AO, it doesn't have to have Zaros Tosi. That's definitely not a requirement. You can always use somebody else like Amir or Charlotte, any AoE damage dealer. Poseidon, preferably have something that either resets skills or reduces their attack bar to go first, and then have the next like hard damage dealer going right after. Make sure their speed is as closely tuned as possible, otherwise you'll potentially get cut in between, somebody will heal, and it's going to be bad news if somebody heals in between. Okay, so be careful with that. Let's see what else we can find though. IG Benz, I think it's Water Fairy King. Yeah, I mean it's just something that you would want to like I said, you would want to just bruiser it out. It's really not too hard for this one. I don't think I need to show you guys that. We'd probably use the same comp. Yeah, I'd probably use the same comp. I might use Vanessa instead of this one. So what I would do is this. I would use Vanessa, Camilla, her, and Juno. So this is actually an AD that I popularly use during Arena Rush Hour. I use this defense a lot during Arena Rush Hour, so we'll see how it holds up for you guys. Overwhelm, not too much going on there. We can heal back up, attack bar, boost. Should have probably gone off after the Lucian first because he hasn't used his amputation magic yet, but we should still be okay. Let's see how we do. I was hoping that I can get the Juno off before they removed all their own buffs, but I think we'll still be okay. And I could probably, at this point I could probably auto. We'll see. So yeah, he didn't kill anybody. Boosted up my attack bar. It was really close to killing somebody, but it just didn't happen because I just build my monsters really tanky. And from here is definitely auto territory. And as you can see, that didn't really take too long. So if you run into a speed comp, you know, I hate to say it, but I think bruisering is now a really good thing. And I want to encourage you guys, if you see speed comps like this, where there's no sustain, there's nothing really that's gonna be a threat, I encourage you to try to fight them using a bruiser comp. And practice with it. It's not going to come overnight because this is not something that's very easy to do. It's not easy to be able to withstand that amputation magic from a really well-runed Lucian. But when it comes down to it, these are the defenses in a high-ranked arena that you have to somehow deal with. Whether you bruiser them out or hope that they all derp, it's up to you. For me, in this situation, I'm going to bruiser them out every single time. This is actually really close to my personal arena defense. But how do you fight this? Well, I'm going to go back to my speed cleave comp because, you know, there's no attack bar booster. I just got to make sure that I go before the other team, and we should be okay. I used my no-Tiana speed comp quite a bit in last hour, just because so many people are countering Tianas with the Amduat these days. So many people are countering Lucians. This, you would never want to Lucian this because the speed leader on the Chaesoon is going to make that Chaesoon want to violent proc even more, or nemesis proc even more. You're not going to want to use a slow cleave because that Juno's probably going to go before you, remove your buffs, stun somebody, and break up that combo. So I use this team a lot. You almost, once you get to higher G3 area, G3, G2, you don't really need to have a will remover anymore unless they have somebody specifically that's going to buff will, because will, with Tiana these days, it's like nobody really builds against will because it's just too easy to remove. When you're in Conqueror 3, Conqueror 2, you do want to build some sort of buff remover. It doesn't have to be the best Nat 5 buff remover in the game. It doesn't have to be Tiana. It doesn't have to be Triton. But if you have those, go ahead and use them, of course. But it could just be Soha. It could just be Aquila. You'll want to have those built because there's a lot of people using will still in Conqueror 3, Conqueror 2. If you're trying to look into breaking into Conqueror 1 from Fighter, if you're at that point, I would just, if you don't have the types of runes or monsters to do that consistently, I would recommend not even worrying about arena. Put your best runes on your farming monsters and make your farming team. So really, when I talk about arena, it's only Conqueror 1, barely, mostly Conqueror 2 and up and 4, because that's the point when like arena starts getting fun. You can start strategizing a little bit more. You have more monsters to choose from when you're picking your teams, and you can go from there. But see, look at that. So even still, I didn't reset that Chaesoon. I didn't. She went in between me because it's probably pretty fast. But the good news is Chaesoon is a little bit more lenient and likes to use that third skill before anything else. I should be able to clean up though here with the rest of this, which I did. So really, 1, 2, 3, 4 turns, 5 with including the Chaesoon's turn from the other team, and it's over. It's as simple as that. Let me see if there's any other ones that I want to address in this video. This is about the same. make sure that you have a water monster that can withstand a bomb. That would be like if you want to put Arena in this, because it's going to bomb you a few times. You put Arena in there. Just something to just take on that damage, take on that bomb damage. Let's see this one. Yeah, nothing too crazy on this one. We already kind of went over the same type of scenario for this one. Let's see if we could do one more. Same thing. Is that the same exact defense? No. Okay. So this one here. I'm a little bit not wanting to use not wanting to loosen it, just because I don't know how tanky this Pern is going to be with this HP leader. So in this one, I don't really have any threat of being, you know, buff removed. Only one would be the Orion, and then everything else is just tanking these 3 hits from these guys before I get my combo up. So in this one, just in case the Orion derps and my team's faster than the other people on the group, and they might have will runes on a couple of them, I'll go ahead and bring my Triton. But really, the Triton is also to absorb hits from that Pern. I'm not really too worried about these two unless my Galleon gets will removed pretty much. But we should be okay. Let's take a look. Christmas tree. Christmas tree shots. Christmas trees. Okay, so there's one will rune. Nothing got removed as far as will. I should be okay. Not too much damage that I had to worry about. And now I just rebuttal. Go ahead, drop my defense break. Missed the Wind Monkey King, so it hurts a little bit. But we should still be okay. We just won't kill on the first turn. So, as you guys can see, the cleave type AO is still very relevant. You just got to make sure you know when to use a buff remover, when to use a attack bar booster, when to use different elements of your arena area effect monsters like Zeros, Tosi. If you're gonna use like Amir, even Sigmaris for like Conqueror 3 range is fine. But as you guys can see, it's still very relevant in today's meta. You just gotta know when to use it. But I would also recommend building that sort of tanky bruiser comp and really take the time to practice it, because the defense meta right now is super Fairy King heavy. Very Fairy King heavy. If you have a Water Fairy King and you don't put it on your defense, you're underutilizing the ability of Water Fairy King. But people have not built bruiser AOs just yet in like Guardian Arena. So you gotta be really proactive about that. Build your bruisers. I hate to say it, but with everybody running speed arena defenses now, and the top ranks and very pinnacle legend rank players are running speed comps, you gotta build those bruisers. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you guys on Thursday, December 1st for my No Summon November stream. I hope to see you guys all there. It's going to be epic. Comtwist is even going to give us a shout out. So stop by, summon some trolls with us, and we'll do it for a good cause and donate a bunch of money to prostate cancer awareness. As always guys, stay soupy, don't be potatoes, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Thanks, bye-bye.